Hey everybody, it's SPAZ, and it's time for another episode of Answer Me This, where I answer your questions. Yes, this is a very self-absorbed, narcissistic, self-centered, egocentric little series that I put on. Well, it's not really. I just like to talk to people, and one of these days I'm not going to be here anymore, and people are going to go, well, I wonder what SPAZ would have thought about that. Well, you can go to this series and find out ridiculous things about me. But this is a special Matthew Street episode, because my friend Matthew Street, who I met on YouTube, he has a lot of great Beatles and power pop related videos. He sent me a list of 20 questions. We've been friends for the last year or two, and we go back and forth. He's a great guy. We text, email, whatever. I've never met him in person. I hope one day that I will, because like I said, he's a great guy. But he sent me a list of 20 questions, and some of them I don't know if I can really answer, but I'm going to answer them as quick as I possibly can. So sit back, relax, and there will be a bonus question at the end asked by a power pop gatekeeper, so to speak. But I'm going to start out now. I'm not going to say the title of this throughout the whole thing, but I will say it once before I go down this list, and all the questions are numbered. So Matthew Street asks, SPAZ, answer me this. Number 1, who is your favorite Beatle? Paul, John. Paul, John. Paul, John. At any given moment, it's going to be either or. Right now, I'm going to say Paul. If I film this video an hour from now, it might be John. Number 2, your favorite Beatles album. I would say the UK version of Help, UK version of Rubber Soul, and Abbey Road. That is 3 albums that I really can't pick. I can't decide. So you go ahead and randomly pick which one of those you like, and that is my favorite album. Number 3, your 5 absolute favorite power pop albums. I'm sticking with the strict term power pop that people really, albums that people really associate with the genre power pop, as opposed to something like Yachts. Yachts is one of my favorite albums of all time, or one of my favorite bands. And I would love to throw them in there, but a lot of people don't consider them power pop. So I'm going to hit 5 of the greatest power pop albums of all time. First album by The Beat, which is also Paul Collins' Beat, but they were just known as The Beat then. First 2020 album, self-titled. Shoes Present Tense, The Rubinoos, Back to the Drawing Board, and The Records Crashes. Those are like the first 5 that really popped into my head. But there's also things that really affected me much later down the line. Most recently, something like, let's say, there's a lot of great albums that come out. Oh my gosh, the Danny Wilkerson album and the Lanny Flowers albums and Legal Matters, their first album. But anyway, let's get back into answering the questions. Number 4, your favorite interview you've done. I've done over 200 phone interviews for Discussions Magazine. I've done however many episodes of my podcast. Lots of great people I've talked to. Some are bucket list people like Francis Rossi from Status Quo, Henry Priestman from Yachts, Dave Fenton from The Vapors. But I mean, I've talked, there's never been, I always go in, I'm normally an anxious, stressful guy, and I always go into every interview going, oh my gosh, this is going to be a catastrophe, and they always end up great. Jeff Murphy from Shoes for my podcast, Dennis Greaves from 9 Below Zero and The Truth, so many of them, so it's really difficult for me to choose. Number 5, the album that has your best liner notes. I've done liner notes for about 35, 40 releases. I think probably my 2 favorite would be both for Real Gone Music, the 2020 twofer, and the Shoes compilation. But I have a problem with my writing. Is once, I spell check it and, or at least try to correct it and make it seem like it's, halfway intelligent, or at least halfway readable. I'm my worst enemy. I'm my worst critic. I'm always second guessing myself. So after it's printed and out, whether it's on the blog or whether it's in liner notes, I don't read it. I cannot read it. But memory serves, it's 2020 in shoes. Number 6, your 2 to 3 favorite superheroes. I'm going to pick 2, Captain America and Superman. Why? Well, because every other superhero seems to be fighting against something. They seem to have their own issues and they're fighting against something. Anyone from Batman, even Spider-Man. But I think that Superman and Captain America are fighting for something. They're fighting for hope. They're fighting for liberty, truth, justice, and the American way. And that's really how I sort of see those two, and that's why I chose those two. Number 7, your favorite cereal as a kid. I can't remember. I love like Lucky Charms and Corn Chex and Fruity Pebbles. I was never really into the chocolatey stuff so much. And I love just like the basic things like Corn Flakes, Product 19, things like that. Let me see. 8, favorite cartoon as a kid. I have no memory of what cartoons I watch Saturday morning cartoons all the time. I mean, basically, let's just say if I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch anything, it's going to be Looney Tunes. The original Looney Tunes, not like the ones that they made in the 70s or 80s. I'm talking about the ones from, the golden age of Looney Tunes, so to speak. Let me see here. Number 9, your favorite adult beverage. I do not drink alcohol and I do not partake in any drugs, including marijuana. But, or at least I don't do any of those things on a regular basis. But my favorite beverage, my adult beverage is Diet Dr. Pepper or Diet Coke. Marianne or Ginger? Marianne. Hubba hubba. Batgirl or Catwoman? Well, you know what? Julie Newmar is an extremely sexy Catwoman, but I'm going to have to go with Batgirl, Yvonne Craig, because she's just charming, beautiful. She's in an Elvis movie too, and she was just a gorgeous, gorgeous woman, but in a very innocent way. And here again, a similar question. 12, from the movie Grease, Sweet Innocent Sandy or leather-clad sexy Sandy? I'm always going to go for Sweet Innocent. Let me see. Favorite Elvis movie? That's the way it is. Favorite, number 14, favorite Elvis album or release? I'm going to have to say anything that has to do with the 69 Memphis sessions, or is it the Nashville? No, it's Memphis. Things like In the Ghetto and Suspicious Minds and Any Day Now, stuff like that. That right there, I think Elvis is just, his voice was amazing. His voice was basically amazing, in my opinion, from 68 to 71. I don't think he sounded any better. He sounded like he was just on fire in the 50s. But I prefer that sort of gravelly, throaty Elvis from 68 to 71. Let me see here. Number 15, your thoughts on whether the success of the Knack helped or hurt power pop. I believe it did both. Number 1, it helped power pop because it made labels aware. It made listeners aware that there's this other scene of bands playing this melodic guitar pop. And so a lot of labels were snapping up all these bands and putting out all this great music into the world. And it was such a wonderful time to be alive if you were listening to that kind of music. Anyone from, I believe that because of the Knack, bands like 2020, Great Buildings, whoever, all the bands that could possibly be considered power pop, the Electrics, the Scooters, Hawks, Laughing Dogs, none of these bands fit the same exact sound as the Knack, but I think it really opened up the label's mind. But I think that the success of the Knack didn't help the genre power pop, because by the time they became so massive and popular, they weren't really, by the masses, the masses really didn't know what power pop was. So they were just a popular rock band or a new wave band. I don't think the general public really knew what power pop was. So a lot of times when I mention power pop, people are going, "What's that?" And I'll have to say, this is the last 40 years I've had to do this. I've had to say, oh, kind of like the Knack. Oh, okay, But anyway, I'm sorry for that long answer. Number 16, favorite candy. I don't have any. Heath bar, Score bar, the or what do you call those? Almond Rokas. Anything that has like the butter toffee. Let me see here. 17, favorite color. For some reason, it's always been orange. My favorite color has always been orange, and I don't know why. I'm just drawn to it, yeah, so that's it. Number 18, favorite must-see TV programs from now. None. I watch TV very rarely. I'll watch it with my girlfriend Jamie, House Hunters or something, but I won't actually seek it out. There's nothing that I seek out. I stopped watching Walking Dead a couple seasons ago. I mean, I'm sure that I would still love it, but I just got so much other stuff, music and videos and all this kind of stuff. And I had to choose, well, what are you going to give up? Are you going to, what type of entertainment are you going to give up? Of course, I'm going to give up the free entertainment. Oh, good Lord. Your favorite must-see TV programs from your youth is question 19. And that would probably be Monkeys, Munsters, Batman, Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, these kind of things that we would watch all the time, and I still love to this day. Dennis the Menace, Leave It to Beaver, I love watching those shows. And number 20, some of your favorite movies. The first two that come to my mind, my number one favorite movie of all time would be Jaws. Number 2 would be Bonnie and Clyde. Number 3 would be the original George Romero, Dawn of the Dead. God, there's like a violent theme going on. But I love Christmas movies like Elf. Elf would probably be in my top 10 films, not just Christmas films, but I love that. And I love, of course, the Marvel movies, even though you didn't ask about the Marvel movies. I'd say Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok are probably my 3 favorites of the Marvel films. And that's it with my questions from Matthew Street. I hope you enjoyed that, but I do have a bonus question from a Power Pop luminary. Jordan Oakes, I've known Jordan Oakes for about, 20, 25 years or something. He used to run the Yellow Pills fanzine, and that just influenced so many fanzines. It influenced the fanzine that my buddy Jim Rowe and I did called Popside. Jordan Oakes didn't create Power Pop, but Jordan Oakes was really one of the first people that thrust it back into the public eye, even though it's never really been cool to like Power Pop unless you're a Power Pop fan. But he really kept interest in the genre alive with his Yellow Pills fanzine, and then he had a couple different Yellow Pills compilations that came out, I think, on the Big Deal Records label, and then he compiled all the Yellow Pills fanzines into a book. I think that was last year. So Jordan Oakes is basically why a lot of us, him and Bruce Brodeen from Not Lame are guys that we should forever thank, because they helped keep the music alive. But anyway, I went way off track. Jordan had a question for me. SPAZ, answer me this. With whom would you rather have dinner, Don Rickles or Nick Hayward? Now, if you're talking about now, it would be Nick Hayward, because unfortunately Don Rickles has passed away. But I think you're sort of just putting it, maybe Nick Hayward at the height of his career, Don Rickles at the height of his career. It's always going to be Don. Don was one of the funniest guys. I would sit up at night and watch YouTube videos and laugh at the same things over and over again. Same jokes in different different roasts or different stand-up routines on Tonight Show or something. I would recommend, if you really, 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 if you feel down, if you need a laugh, go on YouTube and just type in Don Rickles and just start watching clips. But yeah, I wish I could have been within 10 feet of that guy or 2 feet of that guy and met him, because, surely one of the funniest people that's ever lived. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Answer Me This. I hope you enjoyed it, And if anybody has questions, you can put it down in the comments below. And I love to answer them because I just love to jibber jabber. It's not really about me. It's just talking about the things that I love. So that's it for me. My name is Spaz. See you later.